What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Bama Lounge podcast. I am your host, Adam Raymer. Appreciate everybody tuning in, watching, listening, wherever you guys get podcasts. 100% appreciate it. This is the 48 hours after highs and lows episode of the Mississippi State game. We're going to get right into it. Honestly, there's not many lows for me, guys, in this game. I can think of a couple, and I'm just going to shoot them off because there's a ton more highs in this for me than there were lows. The first low is I kind of mentioned this on the last episode on the instant reaction. I didn't think the offensive line was spectacular. I still think they got some things that they can do I think they got some things they can work out on that to get a little better. Not that they played bad. I mean, for God's sake, we won 49-9. So there are some things that I saw that they could do a little bit better. And the other low to me is, we gave up 300 yards through the air, which would be cool if we could stop that a little bit. But I'll get a little more into that after when we start breaking down a little bit more of the statistics and kind of some of the key plays that I thought happened in that game. Again, the other night I was on a high. I didn't really do a lot of statistics and all that kind of thing. This one I'm going to give a little bit more stats in and just kind of tell everybody what I thought, how everybody performed in this. Again, it was a great game the other night. They couldn't have come out any better than they did. And it was just very much needed after that horrible loss, devastating loss, and they did that. 100% did that. So let's get to some of the highs in this game. Number one, I'll talk about Bryce Young a little bit. He was 20 for 28, 348 and 4. Just a typical Bryce Young game, right? I don't know where he's at in the nation. I should have looked that up, but I think it's top 5 in touchdown passes. His completion percentage was good. Got rid of the ball. Here, I will throw a little bit of a low. Everybody gets mad that he doesn't run the ball. He's come out and said he doesn't like to run the ball. It's not that he can't. He doesn't like to run the ball. But I don't care if he runs the ball or not. But I don't want him to take sacks. Big sacks. In certain situations where he could get rid of the ball or run the ball for, plus yardage. So that was, that's a little bit of a low for me that he can work on, not taking those big sacks, but a great game by him. On the flip side, Will Rogers for them, 35 of 55, 3 picks, no touchdowns, 300 yards. Look, we knew, like I said it in the preview show, we knew that Mike Leach was going to pass. It's an air raid offense. Mike Leach, he doesn't believe in the run. He does run it every now and then. They had 19 carries all night. 9 of those were by Will Rogers, which could have meant pressures. Really, they had 10 runs by their running backs. So, they don't run the ball a lot. So to only give up 300 yards, I thought is pretty good. Could be a high, could be a low, either way. A couple of things that stood out on the offensive side. Like I said, Bryce Young. I thought Roydell Williams had a good game. He had 78 yards on the ground. B-Rob had another 73 yards on the ground. He added 2 TDs. 2 TDs on the ground, 1 through the air for B-Rob. When that 1 through the air was great. He caught it, took off, touchdown. John Mechie, guys. John Mechie, I haven't called his name a lot. Have not called his name a lot this year. But he had an outstanding game. 7 receptions, 117 yards, and a touchdown. Trayshawn Holden, 3 receptions, 70 yards, and a touchdown. And then my guy that everybody knows I'm high on, and I think is the number 1 receiver on our team, Jamison Williams. Only had 2 catches, 77 yards, and a touchdown. But his impact in the special teams game, didn't have any touchdowns in the special teams, but he got good field position for us on a couple of kickoffs. I still think this guy's a star in the making, and he's going to be a special player. He's shown that so far. But a typical offensive day for us. Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about these team stats. Let's compare the team stats of Alabama to the Mississippi State Bulldogs. One thing I want to touch on: the time of possession was virtually even. It's 29 minutes 53 seconds for us, 30 minutes and 7 seconds for them. So time of possession was a wash in this game. Each team had it the same amount of time. Bama on third downs was 12 for 16. Mississippi State 7 for 16. So we moved the ball on third down. Total yards, here's the killer right here. 543 yards for Alabama and 299 yards. I said that right. 299 yards. Now remember, their quarterback had 300 yards passing. So they accumulated -1 rushing yards to our 195. And yes, I said that. -1 rushing yards. They had 19 attempts. Now, that does include sacks. That does include sacks in there. So, honestly, they had about 40, I think, by their running backs. But Will Rogers was sacked. Yeah, it was 40 yards. Will Rogers was sacked for a loss of 41 yards. So, again, that does count in the rush game. But that was a huge, huge difference. And again, like I said, he doesn't like to run the ball. Mike Leach does not like to run the ball. We ran the ball 41 times for 195 yards. They ran it technically for 19. It was more like 10 yards for technically 40, but it was -1. Penalties virtually the same. Here's the other thing. This is what I talked about, turnovers. I talked about this. We had to get to Will Rogers. We had to make him force him to have turnovers, pressure him in the air raid offense. You want to affect the quarterback, and that's just what we did. We had 3 interceptions, 2 of those by my man Jordan Battle, 1 of those by Jordan Battle, returned for a touchdown. Josh Jobe had the other interception. So defensively, it was pretty dominant for Alabama. It looked like the Alabama of old. Again, woke up a giant in us. Texas A&M, thank you for doing that. I hate the loss, but it's making us a little more humble. Speaking of defense, Henry To'oTo'o has gotten some bad raps since transferring over. Me included. I haven't dogged him, but I haven't been as high on him. Guys, he had 13 tackles, a sack, and 1.5 tackles for a loss in that game. That game against Mississippi State. Now, not to be outshined here, but Will Anderson had 6 tackles. 4 of them were sacks. Will Anderson had 4 sacks in one game. This guy, I said this before too, this guy's going to be a first-round draft pick. We are lucky to have him on our team. He is a damn stud on the outside rushing. And it goes to show you, I want to say this too about our defense. Drew Sanders and Christopher Allen are hurt. We had a true freshman playing on the outside opposite of Will Anderson. It goes to show you we played really good in this game. But if Christopher Allen is healthy, one, Drew Sanders doesn't get as much playing time. Now that Drew Sanders is hurt, obviously we've got freshmen coming in. But if Christopher Allen is healthy, opposite of Will Anderson, that is a dangerous, dangerous duo coming off the edges. And I feel bad for Christopher Allen because he keeps getting hurt. Prayers out to him. Like I said, he got hurt in the first game of the year. He's probably done for the year. Hopefully he can come back next year and prove himself again. But I wanted to throw out those 2 guys. Obviously, Jordan Battle, 7 tackles, 5 solos, had the 2 interceptions, 1 for the touchdown. But everybody was flying around on defense. Everybody looked good. We didn't have many missed coverages. It just looked like the defense of old, which I 100% adore and love. These guys, Pete Golding did a great job getting the guys ready. Obviously, Saban did. The play calling was pretty good for us that night. And like I said, 49-9 against a team that I heard they're a good team. Look, they are a really good team. And also, Will Rogers got hurt, got banged up a little bit. That kid's tough as nails. I give a lot of credit to him for staying in that game, still being able to throw the ball. I know he made some bad throws, but and I'm not here just to down everybody and rip all these other guys' teams. I give credit when credit's due here, guys. And Will Rogers deserves a lot of credit. I know they got boat raced. Alabama boat raced them, but Will Rogers, he deserves a lot of credit in this game for the tenaciousness and the toughness of him not to give up. And just an overall great team win coming off of a loss. It was much needed. We will probably propel to number 4 in the rankings as the time of this recording. So big, huge win. Now, before we get out of here, we move on. This is one of Bama's favorite weeks, guys. It's Tennessee freaking hate week coming up now. So I will be back on probably Wednesday with the Tennessee versus Bama hate week preview show. Probably around 5 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon will be when that episode is released. But until then, please, 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 again, I appreciate everybody. Please, if you're watching now, hit the subscribe, hit the like, share it with somebody. We're going to try to get to 100 subscribers. When we do that, we're going to give some free merch away, some free Bama merch. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but we'll give some free merch away. Again, appreciate everybody that continues to support the show, me, everybody. And how we always end, everybody remember, roll damn tide. See you Wednesday.